Hello there, this is Ray James Lanier, and I am doing another reading of some mushroom news. I'm going to read some mushroom news to use. I hope you choose to stick around and listen to my news from the mushrooms. Anyway, tonight's article, because I'm reading this at night, on Wednesday, May 6th, around 8:30 in the evening, I'm reading this. But this is from the North Forker online website. I'm not sure if there's a magazine that's connected with it, but it's the North Forker. And the title of this article says, New York City mushroom farmers now growing and selling on the North Fork. And it's got a picture of a little hoop house, and it looks like some lion's mane pom-poms there and probably some king oysters, it looks like. And so the article starts out. Here we go. I'm gonna read it to y'all. Stick around with me. I know it might be boring, but I'm gonna read it to y'all. All right. When Anne Aparo Hall moved from Corsica to New York City in the 1980s, she left behind a strong culture of harvesting. We grew up mushroom harvesting, she said. In the fall, everybody is eating mushrooms. It's inherent to know how to recognize them and how to prepare them. But by the time she had her second child, Aparo Hall was brought back to her roots. After partaking in a community garden in the Rockaways, where she was living, a woman came searching for a way to discard her mushroom blocks, a combination of spores, food mix, and other nutrient material for the mushrooms to grow. The woman was also looking to hand off her mushroom growing business located in a controlled growing environment in Brooklyn. She burnt out because it's a lot of money to grow mushrooms in the city. It's a lot of time and attention, she said. We went back to check it out, and I just fell in love with the idea. It was so beautiful and in the heart of Brooklyn. And in April, I touched it in the screen. And in April 2019, Mushrooms.nyc was born. Quickly, she and her husband began distributing to restaurants in Westchester and the East End of Long Island and opened stands in farmers markets, including the Riverside Farmers Market. Using the same kind of blocks that the woman was trying to get rid of, they continued to grow the mushrooms, but realized they could really only get one harvest out of them. My sister's place became a place where we really started to put out a lot of them to inoculate her land, she said. As an experiment, we said, let's see how far this goes. We know these mushrooms grow in the wild out here already. They couldn't keep the blocks for secondary or tertiary growing in Brooklyn, but on the North Fork, those blocks were doing just that. We noticed that throughout the winter, she was getting pounds and pounds every week, even in that cold environment. Aparo Hall said, who started growing the mushrooms there in January, she was harvesting from all the used blocks throughout the winter. Beautiful blue oyster mushrooms that were so rich, dense, and flavorful, way nicer than the ones that we're growing indoors in Brooklyn in a controlled environment. With the coronavirus shutting down restaurants and markets where they could sell a lot of their mushrooms, Aparo Hall and her team started looking for other places to sell. The discussion started opening. How do we still provide mushrooms to the customers, she said. And then a friend of my sister opened up the idea of selling at KK's. Now it's our 4th week in collaboration with them, and it's going really well. On top of KK's The Farm in Southland, or Southold rather, Mushroom NYC is also selling mushrooms at Catapano Farms in Southold and eager to expand into the North Fork locations. We are looking into opening a grow room probably around Mattituck for year-round production. But right now, Outdoors is doing pretty well, she said. The beautiful thing is that we really saw how the North Fork actually has such a demand for the mushrooms. Okay, well, that's the end of that story. And we all do know, it's really interesting that this lady found out that she could get second and third flushes out in the woods and have better products than in the controlled environment, which I have found, I'm sure a lot of you have also found, that mushrooms grown outside, especially in the cold, are the best. They're the best. And we should all try to find a good spot to put our blocks after a good first or even second flush indoors to get that really good, tough, yummy skin. The cold and the sun and the natural, all that oxygen just makes those mushroom blocks perform much better. Anyway, this is Ray James, and I hope you enjoyed my reading of another bit of mushroom news, man. And I will be back. Maybe we'll do another one tomorrow morning. Talk to you later. Over and out. Goodbye. See you later. Oh, I'm going to miss you, but I got to go. So, I almost forgot. If you're enjoying mushroom news, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave me some comments. Please. It's chaos in the mushroom news factory. It's chaos.
Hey, I